Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Krysrain deck profile for post Moon Fangs and Cerulean Blaze. We got some more support in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set for the Lyrical Monasterio deck that focuses on having as many different named units as you can on the rearguard circles and your Vanguard circle for additional power setup. Just a very fun Divine Skill deck as well for the Faded one of Ever Changing. With that added setup, we get more and more pressure with our Vanguard. While I would say Krysrain is one of the weaker Faded ones, still a very fun lyrical deck to play for sure. So always like to keep it up to date. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. We'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. Starting off, we have the energy generator with our starter being Wonder Lavender or Soul. When wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Lively Navy Tifane. When wrote upon by Confident Aqua Musette, reveal the top card of your deck, call it to rearguard if it's a grade 2 or less normal unit, and put it into hand if it's not. So just more setup for your rearguard circle space. And our grade 2, Confident Aqua Musette. When it's wrote upon by a grade 3 with Krysrain, and its card name, reveal the top card of your deck, call it to rear if it is a grade 3 or less normal unit, put it into hand if it is not, giving you just more setup with the entire ride chain. And then our grade 3 for the ride deck is the Faded one of Ever Changing Krysrain, along with the copy we run in the ride deck. We run 3 additional copies in the main deck as well. On the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you can counterblast 1, perform one of the following. If you have 4 more units with different card names, perform 2 instead. If you have 5 or more, perform all instead of 1. You draw a card in energy charge 3, or you can choose one of your units. It gets plus 15 till end of turn, or you can have this unit get critical plus 1 until end of turn. So being able to have those 5 different units on the rearguard circles and your Vanguard gives you access to all 3, being able to provide that additional power to some of your rearguards. If you choose one of them for the plus 15,000 power, you can have some other abilities go off depending on the rearguard that you choose. So that other skill being its Divine Skill. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked a grade 3 Agrarian unit. Return all rearguards to hand. Choose up to 1 unit card from your hand. Call it to rearguard until end of turn. Increase or decrease that unit's power and critical to match this unit. So even if your opponent perfect guards your Krysrain, you still can give all of the power to that unit, because then you can provide the added matched power to the unit that you bounce back to your hand and call back onto the rearguard circles. And with some of the newer support we got from the Moon Fangs and Cerulean Blaze set, it can just help for more and more of an aggressive playstyle thanks to that. Our other grade 3s just include 1 copy of Vivid Flash Wheezemay. We do have a good number of different cards, just at a lower number of ratios, so we can always have, a good number of different rear guards. Wheezemay, you only really need the 1 when it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain, counter +1, and it gets plus 15 till the end of that battle. So if you have it match Krysrain's power with a Divine Skill, then you can swing with an additional plus 15 on top of the power match thanks to your Krysrain. For the grade 2s, 4 copies of Loving Pink Friend Set. Now, I know you still need a wide variety of units, but this one is just way too good not to run, where it's chosen by the effect of your grade 3 or Vanguard with Krysrain. Its card name, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets plus 10,000 to end of turn. So if you choose this rearguard with Krysrain's plus 15, you can then in turn have your Vanguard get plus 10 thanks to your Loving Pink Friend Set. And when this unit attacks, if you have 3 or more units with different card names, it gets plus 5 to end of turn. If you have 4 or more at the end of the battle, choose up to 1 of your other rearguards and return to hand. So just more bounce power on top of everything else with this card. For the new grade 2s, we're running the 4 copies of Energetic Yellow Planel. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain, its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. Then Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck and call it to rearguard or discard it. So this can just give you that additional, rearguard to be able to attack with. The Divine Skill can just normally set up 1 rearguard, but being able to use Energetic Yellow Planel to then place it on rearguard, then have an additional column called out thanks to your unit, and depending on what you reveal. And on the guard circle, if you have a grade 3 Great Vanguard with Krysrain, its card name, it gets plus 5,000 shield, making it just a 10k shield to be able to guard against your opponent with. Other grade 2s include 3 copies of Innocent Orange and S, just for the Counterblast and Energy Blast 3 option when it's placed on rearguard. To check the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 unit card from among them, with call a different card name from among them onto your rearguard circle, then one's on your Vanguard or rearguard. So more call power, just more or less a investment compared to some of the other newer cards we run in the the deck. And when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, if you have 4 or more units with different card names, it gets +10. So while it may miss out on this with the Divine skill, you can still have it attack for some pretty big pressure numbers early on. We're also running 2 copies of Morning Practice in the column C, Toll Mana. When this unit's placed on rearguard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain, Soul Blast 2 cards with different names, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 card without Sentinel, reveal it if you do not have a rearguard with the same name as that one, call it to rearguard, and that unit gets +5 until end of turn. So additional calling, just needing the Soul Blast to do it. And once he attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain and its card name, and your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, this unit gets +5 as well, just making it another 15k and just another one to set up rearguard units on the rearguard circles. With the last of the grade 2s being 1 copy of Ringing Song Fiora. When it attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain and its card name, choose 4 of your units. If you chose 4 units and all the chosen units have different card names, this unit gets +10,000 until end of turn. So just another additional power up to rely on with these skills in the deck. For the grade 1s, 4 copies of Moderate Mint Rochelle. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain and its card name attacks, Energy Blast 3, put this unit in the soul, draw a card. If your rearguard did not stand by a card's ability this turn, choose a rearguard chosen by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Krysrain and stand it. So this is meant to give more or less a option after the Divine skill for you to achieve multiple attacks with your rearguard circles. Being able to just put this in the soul, not only providing Soul Blast power for some of the other cards in the deck, but then being able to restand units to have that additional attack as well, thanks to this card. And then we're also running 2 copies of Beware of Overeating Eileen. When it boosts a rearguard, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom of the deck. Just more setup for potential better drive checks against your opponent as well. 2 copies of Cynical Composer, ROM, having the guard restriction option for an Energy Blast. So you do use a lot of Energy Blasts in this deck, but you can set them up pretty easily with the 3 you get each turn, and then the Energy Charge 3 for Krysrain. Also, just having the guard restriction if your opponent doesn't use a Sentinel, being able to at least use this card to have your opponent have to guard with more in their hand when your Vanguard goes up against them for the attack. 2 copies of Cooling Heart Eureka for the added bounce and power to your rearguards when it boosts, being able to also Soul Blast to return those cards to the hand. And then 1 copy of Resius, and then the 1 Obatal for the guard circle power, and then the additional power of being able to provide for another unit on the field. So you can even choose Krysrain with this unit powering up your Vanguard more and more. For the last of the grade 1s, running 4 different Sentinels, so we always have the option for different units. And if you have to call a Sentinel, you can still have other ways to bounce it back to your hand, including your Vanguard's Divine skill, to then make use of it for what it was meant to be as an actual Sentinel. With the critical lineup also being the initial 8 critical as well, but we're running 1 of every different critical to be able to have the same premise before with the different named units. So the 8 different criticals here. And then for the next trigger lineup, 2 draws, these being the only ones that are the same, just so we have the added 5k shield option, with the 11th being the Spiky Heath, the new front trigger from the Fangs Cerulean Blaze booster set, with the heals following the same lineup, 1 of each different heal to run in the deck as well, sticking to the generic lineup of heals instead of any of the ability ones, with our over trigger being Spiritual King of Aquatics, Eidos Faro, for the additional effect of choosing a card from your drop, putting it into the hand, and choose one of your units, and it gets critical +1. So more add back power as well, thanks to this over trigger. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. It's a Faded 1 deck that I always enjoy updating on the channel, and I hope you do as well. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.